First, we need to go back to a very, very important story, which is, of course, the audacious escape from Wandsworth Jail 3 days ago now of a former soldier, terror suspect, Daniel Khalife. 21 years old, 6'2", used to be a soldier, accused of stealing state secrets and also planting 3 fake bombs at the military unit that he served at in Staffordshire. He's still on the loose. Where the hell is he? And what the hell happened at Wandsworth Prison that he was able to attach himself to the bottom of a delivery van and just hang there while it drove out of the gates? Don't they check underneath lorries? Don't talk to me about staff shortages. Staff shortages don't stop you checking basic security. Let's talk to retired police officer Norman Brennan. Hello, Norman.
Yeah, good morning, Kevin.
Well, 3 days on, the more they don't find this guy, the more I suspect, I don't know what you think, that he had help here, that he had associates. Insofar as, you know, we know in something out of a movie, he hung himself with specially constructed straps underneath this delivery lorry, which left the prison. I would ask, why didn't anyone check underneath the lorry? But they didn't. And he then dropped off the bottom of that truck at some point. My theory is there was someone waiting for him there. He got into the back of the van and hasn't been seen since. Obviously, airport security is racked right up. Lots of travellers suffering massive delays. Airports, ports, motorways, roadblocks everywhere, stations, of course, but no sign of him. What's your theory, Norman?
Well, I totally agree. I would suggest, without a doubt, that he was given a lot of help. This was very well planned. He knew the type of vehicle that were, or vehicles that were delivering to the canteen, what time they arrived. And as we all know, that some of these prisoners can get mobile phones taken into prisons. They can have conversations, they can plan whatever they like, and nobody's got a clue or an idea. I would suggest that the vehicles were probably followed after the escape, or they knew the planned route. Bidfest, they used to deliver to a business I used to have. So what normally happens is they deliver in a high street, or sometimes they go to an industrial unit, get out of the vehicle, go and see the people they're delivering to, and often that gives a few minutes for anybody that has secreted themselves under a vehicle to free themselves, and probably to a waiting motorbike or a vehicle in the local area to whisk them away. And I would suggest they wouldn't be going back to where they used to associate, which is probably not far from me in Kingston. They would have preempted all of the things that the police or security services would do, and he's a soldier, so he's a pretty switched on bloke, and if he was helped, which I'm sure he was, so are all these people that supported him.
So you're an expert. I'm just an amateur in all of this. So you agree with me that it looks like he had associates. It looks like he had help. Now we're 3 days into a massive search, a massive manhunt. The early stages of which involved helicopters whirling around all of London's common ground areas like Hampstead Heath, Richmond Park, you name it. They were zooming around there. But I'm presuming, Norman, the more time that goes past, the less chance there is of him being living rough on Hampstead Heath or something. What should the police be doing now? They'll obviously have to widen the net, but what should they be doing to try to catch this guy?
Well, they're doing whatever they would do if anybody escapes or anyone that police are looking for. They look at all the associates. They will look to see who visited him in prison, what friends he had before, what friends that he had in the army. They will be doing all of the checks on anywhere that he used to associate. But to be quite honest here, it is a bit like a needle in a haystack. I mean, this is not the Shawshank Redemption where people are dressed in prison uniforms and running around, and you've got members of the public saying, I've seen him on the Upper Richmond Road, because that appears to be the road not far from where I live, and it's a long road leading into Richmond, where it looks like he freed himself. And as I say, Kevin, this without doubt, when you think he's been in prison on remand waiting to be tried at court for many, many months. And what do you think he'd been doing for 24/7? Meticulously planning everything. He would be looking at what the police would be looking at, how the police would investigate, and it is a needle in a haystack. And the longer it goes on, he would have probably taken to a safe house or a location, probably even out into the country, maybe on a motorbike. I don't know. I'm not a complete expert. I've just got a view like yourself. Lay low for 2 or 3 days. And to be quite honest with you, while the police are running around like mad hares, he's probably sitting down quite nicely somewhere in his pre-planned location and probably has an idea. And I would suggest, bearing in mind the charges that he's on, he'll be looking at getting out of the country, probably not at this immediate time. He'll probably wait a week, 2, possibly 3 weeks if he's still free in that time, and leave at his own leisure, and it's probably been very well planned.
Just a quick last word from you, Norman, on security at Wandsworth Prison, an 1851 edifice built in Victorian times, a notorious hellhole. It's where all the crooks don't want to go. Not known to be that easy to escape from, but it's only a Category B prison, but massive high walls. Famous escapees, of course, include Ronnie Biggs, who went over the wall in 1965, and the Cray twins, who went under it in a tunnel in 1966. But by and large, it's not an easy jail to break out of. This guy used a kind of almost movie-like method of attaching himself to the undercarriage. Now, they're complaining, the prison union, the officers' union, say, well, this is staff shortages. Well, staff shortages are not good, but surely, you know, I've seen this in the movies. Don't they have these sticks with mirrors that you look underneath trucks? This was, it strikes me, a basic security check error, wasn't it?
Oh, without a doubt. I mean, I'll be quite honest with you, Kevin. I listened to the Prison Officers Association chairperson this morning, and just like in policing, and I hear what you're saying, I know your view, I have great sympathy with them. Apparently, they were 50 officers short on that particular day. They had like a weekend shift. Many of the senior officers, just like in police, the experienced officers have long gone. They've got new recruits, probably in their late teens, early 20s, not properly trained. They've had huge amounts of money taken away from them. And just like police, now like fire brigade policing, they go from one emergency to the next. Sometimes things are overlooked and missed. And clearly this miss is somebody now running free who could well be a danger to society, not necessarily in a fist fight, but what he intended to do by placing allegedly hoax bombs and spying for another nation. Very serious crimes to have been alleged against, and he's now walking free at the moment and needs to be arrested.
Exactly, and I should reiterate that the police are saying if you do see Daniel Khalife, do not approach him. Phone 999 immediately. Thank you very much, Norman Brennan, retired police officer.